we have maybe a couple of questions over there, whoever.
How many charter schools does New Hampshire have, number one? And number two, with what's going on in the legislature now, do you anticipate that more or less money will be going to charter schools?
There's currently 10 open. It was a big boon for charter schools as far as this past election went. You know, quite honestly, because the Republicans came in and they're very pro-charter school. Now, I hope that they don't go too far and want, you know, everyone to have vouchers and we get in it. I mean, while I might agree with the voucher system, I'm just, you know, I can only take on so much in the legislature, and I'm about charter schools. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that there will be some more equality in the legislature. Not huge increases in funding, but at least charter schools need to be given access to other money streams that the traditional public school is, like school funding aid. If you guys wanted to expand and you were in a traditional public school, you could go to school building aid, take out a loan.
Yeah, we can't do
Which
that
presumes in this budget climate that school building aid will
Will be
exist.
funded.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I would not want to bet on that. Question there.
So, I like the idea of charter schools, I think they're wonderful, but I'm wondering, and this is probably not as much in New Hampshire as someplace like DC, but every charter school or any really special interest school, whether it's a magnet school, depends a lot on the parent or parents or guardian of that child being interested enough to even get them to the lottery. What's happening to all those kids, and New Hampshire has some of them, but again, not as many as DC, who maybe live in a foster home, who live with parents who cannot care for them adequately, and they don't have anybody saying, you have potential, let's try and get you to something. I mean, we saw people in the film who tried to get their kids there and didn't make it into the lottery. I can only assume that they're going to keep on trying something for their children. But what about and I don't know what percentage New Hampshire has, what about all those kids? No matter how many charter schools we have or alternative education we have, what's going to happen to those kids? Which to me seems like it's getting to be a bigger and bigger number in the United States, maybe not New Hampshire.
This issue came up before. Do you mind if I
Please,
try to focus one element of that, and that is, do charter schools, stop me if I'm paraphrasing this wrong, do charter schools truly hinge on the engagement of the parents in order to be effective? Is that implicit in your question?
That would be a good paraphrase.
Okay, so in your experience, you're a parent, but if we could just take this from the school folks, is parental involvement one of the key ingredients that comes along with the charter school package that allows it to have a leg up?
Boy, no. That would really give it two legs up, in my opinion. I mean, that's the second leg. We struggle with that, and we will transport parents to meetings and we'll go get them. But ultimately, those young people are succeeding because there's an adult and there's a couple adults that believe in them. They just needed somebody, usually is that first leg up. Ideally, to get that next step, we need to get them there. And those kids, there are kids missed, absolutely. It was nice when we had representation in the high school so that relationships were formed and we were able to move back and forth, but that requires cooperation.
Brad, just clarification, the couple of adults who care about the kids and believe in those kids, were you referring to people at the school, or were you referring to people in the community who said this kid ought to come to you guys?
People at the school and also several people in the community who are starting to understand and, you know, connect lost kids, or however you want to say that, to us. Makes a big difference.
Right?
I would say that parental involvement is, on the one hand, essential to a charter school, because my own personal philosophy is that the closer connected the school system is to the families of the children that are attending, the more successful the school is going to be. As far as a day-to-day running of the school and how involved parents are and what's going on in their child's classroom, I think it becomes more of an element of creating that trust that the beginning of the movie tried to, say that we all should have in our schools. And hopefully with our charter schools that our parents have that trust and that they can say, okay, I'm sending my child off to this school and I can feel confident they're gonna do what's best. However, we want the parents to be much more involved than just dropping your child off at school. And we feel that one of the real strengths is that the system for making decisions in a charter school is so streamlined that a parent can come and say, I really think that this school isn't focusing on reading skills well enough, and why don't we try this, and can we do this? And they have a mechanism to get right to the top of the decision-making chain in the charter school very simply. Whereas if you're in your local public school system, which charter schools are part of the public school system, I don't want to say that they're not, but we're not part of the local school board driven system. If you go to your local school like that, there are so many layers to make a real change. I mean, they'll funnel you to the PTA or, be a classroom volunteer. In a charter school, you get funneled to the charter school board, and you sit down and you say, you want to help with reading, well, okay, give us your ideas and we'll see how we can do that in the school. So, so parent involvement, yeah, it's essential, but they can also be a little bit detached. And as far as, do we actively recruit kids that we feel may be in need of our services? I'd say in Surrey, no, we don't. We don't turn anyone away. Special needs kids have an equal chance of coming into the school as the non-special needs. But I'd say we have not ever really even thought of, gee, we should go look and see for some kids who are struggling in the local school.